Skorne, turn 1. First model to activate is the Cyclops Raider. He just walks up and riles for 2. Zaal then activates and he spends 1 fury point to put a soul token on the Ancestral Guardian and Hakaar. Then he casts Awakened Spirit on the Raider so it can use its Animus for free once per turn. He casts Inviolable Resolve on the Immortals and the Krea's Paralytic Aura on himself. Then he advances. Then the Cannoneer runs up to the hedge. Then the Immortals activate and they receive a run order. They have +2 movement because they're starting in the command range of the Ancestral Guardian, making them able to run 10 inches. Then activating the Cyclops Shaman, spending 2 fury points to cast the Krea's Paralytic Aura on himself, and then he charges one of the Stormfall Archers on the opposing side. The Ancestral Guardian activates and runs. The Krea receives a run order. Marketh activates and runs. Nihilators activate and run. Hakaar's also running, along with the first Extoller. And just for ease of pace, the last Extoller SoulWard and the Willbreaker are also running. Scyrah, turn 1. Ossyan activates and puts Quicken on the Halberdiers, and then he stands still. The Halberdiers then advance up 8 inches because of the Quicken, and they've received a shield wall order. The first unit of Stormfall Archers just advance up behind the Halberdiers. First Stormfall Archer takes a shot at an Immortal. He ignores the Halberdiers for line of sight purposes because of a special rule, and he's using snipe ammunition, so he is in range. Defense 12, he needs a 7 to hit and he misses, causing the AoE to deviate 5 inches to fall. Next Stormfall Archer takes a shot at the same guy. He is just out of range, causing the AoE to once again deviate, and it deviates again 5 to the 4. The third guy shoots at the same Immortal, also falling just short, deviating once again and hitting nothing. The last Stormfall Archer decides to take a shot at the Immortal on the flank. After doing a lot of careful measurements with line of sight and range, he's again just short and he deviates, clipping the Immortal, but we figured out that the blast damage of 6 couldn't actually hurt his armor of 19. The last unit of Stormfall Archers advance. The Destors activate and choose the careful approach, just advancing a little bit. He's chosen to play it safe with the strike force, keeping them back for a little while longer. The Banshee activates and advances, the Arcanist follows up. Skorne, turn 2. Zaal activates after he's pulled in all his fury, and he casts Last Stand on the Nihilators, and he spends 1 fury token to put another soul on Hakaar and the Ancestral Guardian, and he advanced just a little nudge. And after that he puts the Krea's Animus on himself again, making him +2 defense, +2 armor against ranged attacks. The Raider activates and he puts Fast Strike on the Cannoneer for free and Riles for 1. The Cannoneer activates and he nudges up towards the hedge, and then he starts deviating an AoE towards the Halberdiers. He's range 16 because of snipe from the Raider. He's out of range and he deviates 2 inches to 2. Then he riles for 2. The Willbreaker advances up and gives the Cannoneer another shot against that same target, this time deviating 1 inch to 6. The Nihilators receive a run order, attempting to get up the board and engage those Dawnguard Destors. They have reach, so a few of them are actually in range. The rest of them are just trying to trail back a bit and keep a bit safe. The Extoller activates and makes a run, attempting to get in range of those souls. Hakaar made a run for it. The Immortals activate, making full use of that +2 movement from the Ancestral Guardian, running up and engaging the front line of the Halberdiers. The Krea uses his Animus and charges the Immortal in the middle, getting up in range. The Cyclops Shaman activates, he riles for 1, and then he charges at one of the frontline Immortals. Next up, Marketh makes a run, and the Ancestral Guardian is also making a run move. The last Extoller makes a little run. Scyrah turn 2. Sylys upkeeps quicken, and Ossyan has all his focus back. Starts off by allocating 3 focus to the Banshee, and then he activates Ossyan and pops his feet, giving him an additional die on ranged attack damage rolls. Then he advances a little bit and takes a shot at one of the Immortals. He needs a 6 to hit, and he makes it. It's dice -6 for damage, and he easily kills him. That also means that the AoE from Ozzy's weapon will not be put into play. The Halberdiers then activate. They pop their mini feet, giving them +2 attack and damage rolls against models engaged with other models in their unit. And then he moves them forward to engage. With the mini feet up, he's effectively mat 8, and he attacks the first Nihilator, needing a 5 to hit, and he misses. The next Halberdier, also on the Nihilator, hits an effective power 12, needing a tough roll. He is not tough. And he starts off attacking the first Immortal. He needs a 4 to hit, and he makes it. Power 12, he needs an 8 to kill, and he takes the first Immortal off the table. The Officer attacks the second Immortal. He needs a 3. And he makes it. Again an 8 to kill, and he fails to kill him. Next guy attacks, needs a 4, does not get it. And the third guy, he hits, 8 to kill, and he doesn't kill him. Another Halberdier attacking another Immortal, needs a 4 to hit, he hits. And he is just short of killing him, needing an 8. Next guy hits, and he succeeds to kill. The remaining Halberdiers keep pummeling the last Immortal in range, and they either miss or fail to kill him. Eiryss activates and moves out the forest, just getting in nice and snug to take a shot at an Immortal in an attempt to pull off their upkeep spell. She is in range, she needs a 5 to hit because of the Krea's Animus. She does hit and the upkeep spell goes off. Then she rolls damage, which gains an additional dice from Ozzy's feet, and she kills that Immortal. Activating the Destors and starts shooting at the Nihilator. Needs a 5 to hit, and he hits, and it's straight to tough rolls, but he still rolls the damage. He's tough. The Destors get 2 shots because they forfeited their movement, He hits the next guy, and he toughs. These guys have Shatter Storm on, so if they actually manage to kill Annihilator, it's not going to count towards Zaal's feat. Next guy hit and also made the tough roll. Next guy hit and doesn't make his tough roll, and this time there's an AoE. The other Annihilator in the AoE takes a power 8, and he survives. Next Destor takes a shot at the closest Annihilator, needing a 5 to hit, and he hits him, no problem. He kills him, rolling tough, crooked dice, and he makes a tough roll. Takes a second shot, same guy, and it's a tough roll again. Next Destor shoots at the same Annihilator, he hits, and he makes another tough roll. Last shot from the same Destor, hits, and this time it doesn't make the tough roll. Last guy shoots at the faraway Annihilator, and he hits, no tough. He still has one shot left, taking it on the knockdown Annihilator. He hits it, and this time he is not tough. So after all that punishment, the Annihilators are still standing. The Banshee activates and declares a charge, and he gets in range easily. Swinging with his charge attack with a little sword, needs a 7, and he swings at the Extoller for the second attack, needs an 8, and he missed. Buys an attack, and he boosts to hit, and he hits it. Power 17, auto kills the Extoller, and Hakaar receives a soul token. First unit of Stormfall Archers activate. The front guy chooses to take a brutal damage shot on the Krea. He is in range, and he hits it. Dice damage because of brutal and Ozzy's feat. He does 11 damage to Spiral 3. Second guy also in range, but he misses. Forgot about the AoE. Next guy hits, 4 dice damage, doing 9 damage to 1. Last guy takes a snipe shot, and he hits. Minus 6 damage, and he kills it. Second unit of Stormfall Archers activate, and they shoot at the Cyclops Shaman. Takes a brutal shot, needs a 6 to hit, and he misses. This time we remember the AoE, deviating 6 inches to 2. Just clipping Hakaar. Inside Ozzy's feet, 3 dice for damage, and he does no damage. The bad guy uses a snipe shot, and he hits him, 3 dice damage, dice minus 4, 11 damage to 2. The guy uses a brutal shot, and he hits, 4 dice damage, doing 9 damage. Now we remember the AoEs on the guy in front, needing an 11 to kill him, and he kills him. Last Stormfall Archer shooting at the Shaman, he hits him, brutal damage, 11 damage, more than enough to kill the Shaman. Just removing the trees from the forest so the strike force can move around. Starting to look really bleak for the Skorne with all those models gone. So the strike force are moving out of the forest. First guy in the strike force attempts to take a forest shot, and he is just out of range. Next guy takes the shot at another Immortal, needing a 6 to hit, crooked dice rerolling, and it's still a hit. He needs an 8 to kill, dice is cocked again, and it doesn't get an 8. Guy shoots and he misses. Another guy, he hits, and he kills him. Shooting at another Immortal, and he hits, but he doesn't get the 8 he needs to kill. Next guy, and he misses. Another shot with a different guy, and he hits, and he kills him. Still 3 more guys needing to fire. First guy taking a shot at Marketh, needs a 7 to hit, and he gets it. And again he needs a 7 to kill, and he gets it. It is really looking bleak for the Skorne. The leader shoots at the last Immortal, and he hits him, and there'll be boosted damage on this one because he's in the feet. and he does more than enough damage to kill the Immortal. Last guy in the strike force takes a shot at the Ancestral Guardian. He hits it easily, but he needs an 11 to do damage. So Sylys advances to the other side of the hedge, and the Arcanist just makes a run. Skorne, turn 3. Doing vengeance moves for the 2 remaining Immortals. Attempting to hit a grunt, and he hits it, and he kills the one that's not in shield wall. Last Immortal also targeting a grunt, he hits him and he kills him. Hakaar's Righteous Vengeance ability was triggered last turn, enabling him to make a full advance. Both Last Stand and Awakened Spirit have been upkept. Zaal activates and advances up on the other side of the hedge, and then he uses his feet. He then spends a cup of fury to put Fast Strike on the Extoller and on the Cannoneer. The Extoller advances up, trying to get a juicy target, and then he takes a shot at the Arcanist. Now he's not within the control area of Ozzy, so he doesn't lose 1 dice for damage. The Extoller needed an 8 and he didn't hit. Next, activating the Cannoneer, moving up just a little bit. Then he takes a shot at the front Destor. He's just out of range, deviating 6 to the 4. Sadly hitting his own Annihilator. And that's a tough roll for the Annihilator. And the Willbreaker moves up and gives him an extra shot, same place, this time deviating 3 to 6. Catching 2 horses in the AoE. Dice -9. Cock dice. Doing 3 damage with boxcars. Damage for the next one? Nothing. To finish it off, the Cannoneer rolls for 4. The Raider activates, just moving up, casting Fast Strike on himself for free, and he takes a shot at the Arcanist, falling just out of range, so instead he rolls for 2. Hakaar activates, and we're checking if he's within the 5 inches of wailing from the Banshee, but he isn't. So he chooses to charge the Banshee. Hakaar declares a combo strike for the initial attack. He hits with a mat of 9, needing 3, doing dice -1, 14 damage to 5. Then he buys an attack with the soul token, and he easily hits, boosting the damage with a token from Zaal's feet, -6 this time, doing 5 damage to 1. Buys another attack with the soul token, and he hits, boosting with the feet, -6, doing 6 damage to 1. Buying the last attack, boosting with one of the feet tokens to not get Snake Eyes, -6, doing 6 damage to 4. That is enough to kill the Banshee. Next up, activating the Nihilators. One sacrifices its action to stand up, the other one can't stand up because it was knocked down in this turn. Then we declare a few charges. Only one of them actually makes it in. On range of the feet, and he misses. Activating the remaining 2 Immortals, just shifting one of them around a bit. Boosting to hit from the feet, boosting the damage as well, and he kills a grunt. You can see the last guy's attack is not on the camera, but he missed. The Ancestral Guardian declares a charge against one of the Halberdiers, and he boosts to hit from one of the Zaal's tokens, and he hits, and he boosts the damage and kills it. Scyrah, turn 3. Sylys upkeeps Shadowstorm on the Destors. Ozzy puts Quicken on the Stormfall Archers, and then Ozzy ends his activation. The Arcanist declares a charge on the Nihilators that's knocked down. He hits, and he does enough damage to force a tough roll, which the Annihilator fails. The Halberdiers activate and shuffle a bit around to get into range of the last Immortals. And then he starts attacking the Immortals. Needless to say, with this amount of attacks, The poor Immortals don't stand a chance. Activating the strike force, moving into position. First strike force guy attempts to shoot at Zaal, and he is just out of range. The next guy shoots at Zaal, and he hits. Dice -4, doing 1 damage. The next guy gets a hit. Dice -4, does 8 damage. Zaal chooses to take it on himself. Last guy attempting to shoot at Zaal, and he misses. The leader of the strike force attempts to shoot at the Ancestral Guardian. He hits, but he does no damage. Another strike force guy shooting at the Raider. He needs a 7 to hit. He hits. Dice -6, doing 3 to 3. Next guy shoots. He missed. Next guy shoots, and he hits. Still at the Raider. Dice -6. 2 damage to 1. Another guy. And he hits. And does 5 damage to 5. Eiryss decides to make a run for it. Stormfall Archers activate. Everyone except for one can see the Ancestral Guardian, and they shoot at him with brutal damage. It hits and does 2 damage. Next one fires. He hits. And he does 2 damage after the cock die has been rerolled. The last guy shoots. He hits. Dice -8, and that's enough damage to kill the Ancestral Guardian and put the Kovaas into play. The Kovaas in this situation does represent a real threat, as there are almost no magic weapons left on the Scyrah side to take care of him for this round. Last unit of Stormfall Archers activating over to get a shot at Hakaar. First guy shoots at Hakaar, is in range doing brutal damage, everything but Snake Eyes to hit. He hits. Dice -6 doing 7 damage, almost killing Hakaar. Next guy shoots, hits, and kills. Still 2 more Stormfalls in the unit. One of them taking a brutal shot at Annihilator and forces a tough roll, which he makes. The other one taking a shot at the same Annihilator, again brutal damage, forcing a tough roll. And he makes it. Destors sacrifice movement to shoot again. First one shoots an Annihilator and misses with Snake Eyes. Next one hits, forcing a tough roll, and he fails his tough. Next one shoots at another Annihilator, hitting, and again failing a tough roll. Another guy attempting to make a shot at the Annihilator. He hits him, and the tough rolls failed. Skorne turn 4. Skorne players gonna have to go for an assassination. The Extoller activates and moves up into the zone. Zaal's kept his upkeep spells up, or at least Awakened Spirit. Zaal activate and he's debating a bit about what to do. He ends up putting Fast Strike on the Cannoneer. And then he charges the Extoller in the back. He hits the Extoller. And he kills the Extoller. But now he's in range to do what he really wanted. He wants to cast Last Stand on the Kovaas, putting him in the range of Ossyan as well. Chooses to do Thresher, just doing the models in a clockwise pattern here. Hits the first one and kills him. Attacking the next guy. Hits him and kills him. Next pressure attack is on the Destor. Hits him. And it clears out the Destor. Attacking Sylys. Hits him and kills him. Now for the exciting part. Boosting to hit against Ossyan. And he hits him. Now boosting the damage. Dice -5, doing 9 damage. Now we realize there's one too many soul tokens on him, so remove one. Buys an attack, hits him, dice -5, doing 5 damage. Activating the Cannoneer. Gonna have to make a last ditch effort to get this kill. Range of 16. In range. Boosting to hit, need a 19 total, and he hits. Boosting the power 15 damage roll. Dice -4, doing only 2 damage. But 2 damage is enough, and Ossyan is dead.